the prophecies, like he didn't make a false prophecy, he made just full.
Yes, he did. Chapter 30 is a false prophecy. It embarrassed him.
I mean, like, okay.
I'm telling you, chapter 30 is a false prophet and humiliated him. There's a false prophecy right in the Quran. Right here. Aleph, Lam, Mim. The Romans have been defeated. That's Pickthall. It's Arum, but Arbery says Greeks. Now watch. The Romans have been defeated in the Near Land, and they, after their defeat, will be victorious within 10 years. Actually, it's within a few years. Bid means anywhere from 3 to 9, according to the scholars. Allah's is the command in the former case and the latter, and in that day, believers will rejoice. So, let me ask you a question. From these verses, when were the Romans defeated?
What happens is like 3 to 9 years or something, 3 to 7 years.
No, when were they defeated?
Oh, wasn't they defeated like 5-7 years after?
After what?
After this, the prophecy was made.
When did the Romans suffer defeat? The Romans were defeated. When did they lose?
Well, they lost in the timeline of this prophecy says.
What time? The Quran doesn't give you a time. What time? Where? Where's the date?
Just a few years.
The few years from their defeat, they will win. I'm trying to figure out when were they defeated, so I can then mark the few years. You're not telling me when. When were they defeated?
Well, I don't know the exact date.
You don't know because the Quran doesn't know. It doesn't tell you. And who defeated them here? Can you show me who defeated them? Where does it say who defeated them?
Wasn't it the Persians?
Where does it say it in the ayat? Please, I'll pay you $1 million, and my friend Protestant will take shahada. Show me where it says Persians. Show me here. Hello, right here. Hello.
I mean, that was the war historically that beat them. So I guess if you look at
historically, that's where you're going to see Muhammad was a false prophet, because history says it took more than 9 years. I'm setting you up for that. But before I set you up, can you show me where it says the Persians defeated them?
It doesn't say that.
Okay, and the near land, the land near to what land?
Arabia.
Where does it say near to Arabia? Where are you getting this from these verses, dude?
I mean, I don't know what else it could be referring to. That's the only thing
neither does the Quran know. That's my point. But the Quran doesn't know who defeated the Romans. The Quran doesn't know where they were defeated. The Quran doesn't know when they were defeated. So then we can start counting 3 to 9 years. 3 to 9 years from what date? The Quran doesn't know.
Maybe like 622.
Where does it say 622 here?
Isn't that when they defeated them or something like that?
Where does it say 622? For the love of your Allah, show me that in the ayat.
I don't think it says, but why does it have to say it? Why can't you just...
Because this is the prophecy, right? I'm reading it. Oh, okay, Romans defeated. Who? Oh, it doesn't tell me. The land nearby. Nearby when? Doesn't tell me. Few years from what date? Doesn't know. How am I going to know this prophecy is true when I don't even know the details? What are you talking about, man?
Yeah,
and then I'm going to introduce another problem for you. You ready?
Yeah.
The Quran was written with consonants, no vowel markings, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that without the vowels, you can actually translate the Arabic without the vowels? The Romans have conquered in a near land, and in a few years they shall be defeated. And there are Quran translations that translate it that way. Let me show it to you. So now you're going to have to convince me one reading is right and the other is wrong, because there are Qurans in English that don't translate the Arabic consonantal text this way. Here, let me show you. The prophecy that exposed Muhammad as a fraud, okay? Right here. Right here, my article, I'm going to show it to you. Now, guys, watch. These are the so-called prophecies of Muhammad. If Christians use these kind of arguments, they will laugh at us and never, ever take us seriously. Now, let me enlarge it. Thank the Lord, the Bible has supernatural prophecies that even archaeologists confirm, but we'll put that aside. Okay, now watch here. Here, I'm going to prove to you that the Arabic consonantal text can be interpreted one of two ways. I'm going to show you. Let's go here. Right here. Let's go down. And even there were some early qira'at that read differently. Here. This is the Message, a translation of the Quran. Look how it reads. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The Romans have won. Wait, the Romans have won at the lowest part on the earth. But after their victory, they will be defeated. They're going to be defeated. But hold on. The other version says, right here, right? The Roman Empire has been defeated in a land close by, but they, even after they're defeated, theirs will soon be victorious within a few years. So here it says they've been defeated, and in a few years they'll be victorious. But these Quran translations say that's not what the Arabic says. The Arabic says, therefore, the Arabic says, the Romans have won at the lowest part on the earth, but after their victory, they will be defeated. In a few more years, the decision before and after is for God, and on that day the believers will rejoice. Now here is another Quran translation, Quran, a reformist translation. The Romans have won at the lowest point on the earth, but after their victory, they will be defeated in a few more years. So how do you know which of the two readings is correct?
Is it just two different qira'ats?
Okay, but they're not saying the same thing.
Complementary?
How? One says the Romans have been defeated and they'll be victorious in a few years. The other says the Romans have won and they will be defeated. They're complementary. Are you sure about that, dude?
Oh, okay. So it's like different qira'ats that say that? Or what
Yeah,
is
there
it?
are some readings that read the Romans have won and they'll be defeated. And this is mentioned by Dawi. By Dawi. Because there's a difference between Ghulabat and Ghalabat. Right? And say, my tongue, dude. I have a lisp and you guys want me to read. Sayaglibun and Sayughlabun. Anyway, sorry, butchering it because I have a lisp. But put that aside. Let's go with the traditional. The Romans have been defeated. In a few years, they'll be victorious. And now if I bring in your scholars, it says that this passage of the Quran was sent down around 615 AD, right?
Yeah.
A few years is 329. All historical sources say that the Romans defeated the Persians in December 627 and that they made a truce in 628. All right. So now let's do the math. If you add 9 years to 615, how much does that come up to?
615, 24.
So if it's 624, right? 624. Yeah. But then the historical sources said that the Romans did not decisively defeat the Persians until 627. Your Quran is wrong. Here it is. Here's the sources. Encyclopedia Americana, volume 4, page 115. Heraclius found the empire in domestic turmoil. The Slavs threatened in the Balkans, the Persians and the Visigoths in Asia Minor. In 615, the Persians reached Bosporus, and in 619, they conquered Egypt. At first, Heraclius concentrated on internal reorganization of the empire. Then in 622, he left Constantinople to begin a counterattack against the Persians. His military reforms bore fruit when he destroyed the Persian army at Nineveh on what day?
627.
That's not 3 to 9 years. Your Quran is a lie. Oh, let me give you some more. That was Encyclopedia Britannica, right? All right. Yeah. Let's read again. When under Heraclius, Encyclopedia Britannica, let's see. What's the date? When did they conquer? Let's see. Okay. In 626, the Persians advanced to the Bosporus, hoping to join the Avars in an assault on the land walls of Constantinople. But the Romans sank the primitive Avar fleet that was to transport Persian units across Bosporus and repelled the unsupported Avar assault. Heraclius again invaded Persia, and when? In December 627, after a march across the Armenian highlands in the Tigris Plain, met the Persians near the ruins of Nineveh. There, astride his renowned warhorse, he killed 3 Persian generals in single combat, charged into enemy ranks at the head of his troops, killed the Persian commander, and scattered the Persian host. When? December 627. A month later, Heraclius entered Dastagerd. A month later would be 628, right? With its stupendous treasure. Khosrow was overthrown by his son, with whom Heraclius made peace, demanding only the return of the cross, the captives, and the conquered Roman territory. Returning to Constantinople in triumph. When? Not 624. After 627 AD, in 628 AD, he was hailed as a Moses in Alexandria, Scipio. In 630, he personally restored the cross to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. That's why I say another scholarly source concurs that the complete defeat of the Persians took place around 628 AD. 628, buddy. Here it is. All right. The position, however, was difficult, and he spent the following year on Armenian territory in an exhausting struggle against the attacking Persians. He did not succeed in the attempt to break through to Persia. In 625, he tried to reach enemy soil by means of a detour through Cilicia. Now, notice this is 625. That's even after 624. But again, without any decisive result, and in spite of some victories, he withdrew. So it wasn't decisive. So when was it decisive? Boom. In the autumn of 627, the emperor began his great advance south into the heart of the enemy's territory. Here he had to rely on his own sources, since the Khazars could not stand up to the rigors of the campaign and return home. Now watch. In spite of this, at the beginning of December, what year? 627, right?
Yeah.
Heraclius stood before Nineveh. That's in Iraq. That's my ancestry. It was here that the deadly battle was fought, which really decided the outcome of the conflict between the Persians and the Byzantines. The Persian army was practically wiped out when? December 627. Heraclius continued his victorious advance, and at the beginning of 628, he occupied Dastagerd, the Persian king's favorite residence, from which he had to beat a hasty retreat. In the spring of 628, events occurred in Persia which made any further fighting unnecessary. Your Quran is a lie. It didn't happen within 3 to 9 years. So your appeal to miracles, a lie. Your appeal to prophecy, a lie, because there's a false prophecy in your Quran. So what do you got left, man?
I mean, but what about what about like? Because I mean, so how would you answer the biblical answer?
Buddy, if there's a false prophecy, then it's over. You can't have a false prophecy in a book from God. So you're ignoring what I just told you. So why are you still a Muslim when there's a false prophecy in your book? And by the way, how come God has to guess in a few years? He doesn't know the exact years?
Maybe this isn't the word.
So you're okay with Allah saying in a few years, anywhere from 3 to 9? But doesn't Allah know, well, it's going to be exactly 9 years and 10 years or 12 years or 15 years?
He does, yeah.
But he didn't say that. He said 3 to 9 years, a few years. And even then he was wrong. So why are you still a Muslim, man?